I see what Zoe doing.
Oh, but you like my new trip, man?
Yeah, would you be quiet?
Man, you always asking me about your trip.
No,
Yes, you are.
you making me nervous. Oh, so
Marcel, Marcel, I bring you
I'm
pizza.
like, what are you doing?
So I want you to check these out because we're gonna talk about these.
Okay. I love I am her. I like that. Oh, that sounds good.
The, so, I assume you own a business and whatnot, and you on social media and whatnot. So I'm a music. I make music. I'm also a producer and whatnot. So if you ever need
Or whatnot. Whatever two words come from. You said that a lot in this opening.
Whatnot
Or whatnot.
Jack of all trades.
I do all that. Yeah. So yeah, you just look up No Chilliams on Instagram, and you can reach out to me.
Now experience the promise of ultimate safety that they bring to your home. Call Stacy Johnson.
And I would appreciate
Okay,
it.
after this, bring us
Appreciate
in.
it if you took a listen.
How many seconds we got?
447-3444.
You're rocking with the Brunch Bunch right here on Inspiration 1390. The sun and the moon must be out together because there's some freaky stuff happening around this joint. But you know what? I thank God that no matter what's happening with the sun, the moon, and all that astrology stuff, I serve a God that looks beyond all of that. It's your main man, Action Jackson, and it is a Tell Me Something Good Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yes, it's Tuesday. It's a gloomy Tuesday, and MJ's nanny, his Lolo, asked me as I was walking out. She said, "You got on peach in this dreary weather." And I said, "Because I'm about to brighten up the world." Listen, that is the attitude that you have to have no matter what you are going through. You are the sunshine because you serve the sun, not the SUN, the SON. We got great guests today. Of course, it's Community Chatter Tuesday with Winona Redmond of Win-Win Communications, but I am so excited. You're going to get to hear from one of my good friends. She is a trailblazer in the city of Chicago. Her testimony is one of triumph and not tragedy. One of how you could turn something bad into something good. And that's none other than Miss Anjanette Young. Listen, believers, if you don't know her story, you will hear it when we get back right here on the Brunch Bunch. And Diamond, right? Miracle. That's why I didn't say it right now because I'm like, I think that name is wrong.
So just to give you a little bit of context, so Miracle also kind of in my same had a situation with the police. So back in 2020, remember the police hit a young lady in the face and broke her?
Yep.
That's Miss Miracle.
Oh, wow.
And she's now connected, getting some services and some different things going with I Am.
You catch a bag?
Would you be quiet? Why you back up, Lord? Zoe, what's wrong with him this morning, this afternoon?
I mean, it's a valid question.
It is.
I mean,
There are certain questions.
right.
Follow my lead. There are certain questions that you just don't answer.
Right.
The lawyer's here.
And Adam is
What's up, Facebook Live? I want to invite you guys in. I am hanging out with Marcel Jackson on the Brunch Bunch today.
I get three.
And we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that I'm doing with I Am Her Foundation, our youth conference that's coming up in October. So come on in, Facebook, and hang out with us for a little bit.
Zoe, what's going on?
I got a picture of three.
Come on.
That will touch your heart and transform your life.
My bad.
Ministries is
You knew.
dedicated to
No, we're
spreading the teachings of love, faith, and empowerment. Give them a call.
The sun and the moon.
371-8768
Perfect.
to connect directly with their ministry. And don't
Unfill my car.
DJ B-Lo, what's up? Stay in your lane.
Zoe, how much time we got?
We got one more commercial, and that's like 30 seconds.
Wow, what's your name?
I need to unfill my card because my card's full.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, Tashay, I see you joining me today. What's up? You guys come on in and hear what's going
we
on
gotta
with
keep
me
it moving.
today.
So a lot of this not gonna be coming. This that new girl, remember?
Okay.
But you know Winona is coming or no?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I came on the chat. You talking to me.
I'm just trying to produce a show, man.
Lead the producing the Action Jackson, because we get it done on what's going on. But listen, believers, I told you we have Anjanette Young, and if you don't know her story, she is her. She is the young lady who a few years ago, the police raided her house, and it happened to be the wrong house that they were raiding. But not only did they raid her home, she was comfortably in her home in her birthday suit, and they would not allow her to put on any clothes or anything. They just had her standing there. It was very embarrassing, traumatizing, because they would have saw me naked and it would have been on the news. Everybody would have been hurt. But but what she did was she took that situation and she created a platform to not only help herself heal, but to help other people heal. And we want to give a warm brunch welcome again to Ms. Anjanette Young.
Thank you so much, Marcel and the Brunch Bunch team. I am so excited to be able to sit here with you guys. Marcel and I have become really good friends.
Yeah.
I love baby boy.
Woo, FJ, good listen.
Yes. He is so adorable, and I have become quickly falling in love with Mr. NJ.
Well, we love you. So for the believers who don't know your story, let's briefly talk about your situation and what happened.
So yes, so back in February 21st, 2019, I'll never forget that day. It's just kind of etched in who I am now. The Chicago Police Department raid team raided my home, and they had the wrong information. They didn't have any information. Actually, they didn't even know my name when they came into my home. And so they raided my home, and they came in with guns ablazing, big guns with lights and scopes, yelling at me, put me in handcuffs right away. And because of where I was in the home, I was not dressed. I had just gotten home from work, and was undressing to relax for the evening, and I was completely naked when they came into my home.
Wow. And for some time, I know you had to go through some things because they were not trying to be held accountable. They weren't trying to admit the wrongdoing, but you didn't give up, and that's what we see so often in these type of situations. We don't have the wherewithal or the support. It kind of gets swept under the rug, but you said not today.
I said not today. I said what they did not realize is they didn't know my name when they came into my home, but they actually didn't know who I was. They didn't know that I am the granddaughter of Lucinda Young, and anybody who lives or around Shelby, Mississippi, know who my grandmother is. And my grandmother was a person who was very active in her community. She was an activist. She did a lot of work with Dr. King, Fannie Lou Haman around voters' rights. But my grandmother was that person that didn't take no mess. And so what came to me immediately was like, I am not going to let them get away with this.
Yes.
And at the moment I said that, I didn't really know what that meant. I just knew that I wasn't going to let them get away with what had happened to me.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And you got an impressive career over 26 years as a social worker. And so now you've taken this, because for a while you were her. When you walking around, you had to say, I am her. I'm the one in the video. Yes. I'm the one that's gone viral, because the people who are supposed to be serving and protecting and having all of these guidelines on how to do things did not follow any of them.
Absolutely.
And so now you created a platform called I Am Her, correct?
Absolutely. So I Am Her came about. So when my raid happened, I hired an attorney right away, and we started the legal process, and the city fought us tooth and nail about everything. Everything from denying FOIA requests to not engaging with my attorney when we filed the legal process. And so this went on for about 13 months. So literally for about 13 months, we're fighting the city, and nobody really knows what happened to me. And then in March of 2020, Breonna Taylor happened, right? And so the world went viral. It went viral when the death of Breonna Taylor, and rightly so, because of what happened to her. It was in that moment that I realized what had happened to Breonna Taylor was my story as well, but God spared my life.
Yes, thank God.
Thank God he spared my life. And so from that point, I started wearing a t-shirt with Breonna Taylor's face on it. I was like, I'm her. This happened to me too. And so I used that, and I wore that t-shirt every time I spoke about my story. And so from that, I just really took a t-shirt where I embodied Breonna Taylor, and I took that and I turned into a foundation to say, I am her. And it's for every Black woman and every Black girl out there who has a story that didn't get told, right? I know that I am not the only person that this has happened to in the city of Chicago or across the country.
Yeah. And I love what you said. I am her. The Breonna Taylor, my pastor preached a message years ago that I still love. And the title was, It Could Have Went Another Way. And your situation could have been like the Breonna Taylor situation.
Absolutely.
But speaking of other stories, you brought somebody with you that has a story and has a run-in, and now you're working with her. Let's introduce us to your guest.
Yes. So I have with me today Miracle Boyd. And Miracle now is a recipient of the services that my I Am Her Foundation is providing. And so we have a conference coming up on October 6th. And it's a youth empowerment conference. And I started doing empowerment conferences 2 years ago, but I initially focused on women empowerment.
Right.
And so this year I added a youth component. And during the conference, I always award a woman who's doing the work in the community.
Wow.
So for my women's conference, I awarded, I gave an award to Aku Njeri, which is Fred Hampton's fiance.
Yes, yes.
And so I gave her my first I Am Her Women's Award. And so now, as I am planning the youth conference, I am awarding Miracle the Youth Award for the work that she's doing in the community around these same issues. And so I'm going to introduce you guys to Miracle. Miracle, thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you.
And yeah, say
Miracle,
whatever you like to say.
Tell us your story. Let the believers know a little bit about your run-in and what happened with you.
Thank you for having me. So my name is Miracle Boyd. I'm 21 years old, and in 2020 of June, I was attacked by CPD downtown at a protest. I was only 18 years old at the time, had just graduated high school. I was attacked by Officer Nicholas Jovanovich on Chicago Police Department's force, and he assaulted me in plain day. He didn't tell me to get away from the area. I was recording what was happening at the time. The police were arresting people. And, me as an activist and organizer in the city of Chicago, I know when you get arrested at these actions, you have to know who you are, your age, and you have to get a date of birth, because if you don't, the police will lock you up and you will be missing. And, the folks in your community just wouldn't know what happened to you. So me, being the leader that I am, I just started recording when all the ruckus was occurring, because a lot was going on. People were getting injured. The police were slamming bikes on top of people. And so I was recording someone that I knew that was being arrested. I told him to say his first and last name, his age, and his date of birth. And so you see that in the video, but as I'm recording him being dragged away by police, another officer comes up and he has his hand open and he's like about to slap me. But as he gets closer, you see his fist balls up and he punches me.
Whoa.
And so I fell down to the ground and I get up. And as I'm getting up, I see the officer. He snatches my phone. He walks away. He calls me a B word. And at this point, I had a gap in my mouth. I had a gap in my teeth. And I'm feeling as what is missing is my tooth is gone. And so I'm running back to my peers that is a part of Good Kids Mad City. And I'll talk about in a minute. And I'm telling them, I ran up to our founder and I'm like, the police just did this to me. And they're like, no way, no way. And so they're like, they're getting me help. And I had to walk to the Chicago Freedom School to get away from all the ruckus that was occurring. And I was able to identify the officer based on his tattoos. He had on glasses, so I couldn't see his face. I don't know what he looks like in the face. And so I was able to identify him through our legal counsel by his tattoos, the colors they wore, how tall he was, and things of that nature. And my our legal team found him within a day. And so that's how I was able to figure out who this officer was, figure out all the things that he's been doing on the force, how much he uses force against more than other police officers.
So it wasn't the first time.
This wasn't his first time. I learned that he assaulted a Muslim woman during a traffic stop and pulled off her hijab, and she was topless. And I don't know if she was arrested in that moment. And then there was an incident where he assaulted a Black and brown boy outside of a convenience store on the west side. And that boy ended up being killed due to gun violence a few years later. So it's just we have these run-ins with the police, and we don't know when it will be our last time in community with the people who we love, and when it will be our last time doing the work that's important.
I love it.
And so
well,
that
I
happened.
love what your story. Sorry, because it's so passionate, right? And what I want to focus on, we do know that all police are not bad, right?
Absolutely.
And we just, unfortunately, we have some that put the shield, hide behind the shield, and hide behind the blue. And it's unfortunate that you had to go through what you went through, and it's very unfortunate that Aunt Jeanette had to go through what she went through. But I'm grateful to God that you guys are still alive to tell the story and advocate, because Aunt Jeanette, you're also, now we're solution based on this show. When we talk about a problem, we now say, now what's the solution?
Yes.
So you're working on the ordinance.
Yes.
Can you tell a little bit about the ordinance?
Yes. So right now I'm working with a group of Black women on the city council. Maria Haddon is the leader and author of the Aunt Jeanette Young ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
And so this ordinance basically is us getting together, drafting what we call common sense law.
Yeah.
And what it does is, once we get this passed, it holds police accountable for how they do their work, right? So we know that, not like you said, not every police officer is bad, but there are some who they go to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
The best way to put that. And so with the Aunt Jeanette Young ordinance, we're asking for a common sense law. So we're asking that they do the upfront work before they actually go to someone's home.
Yeah.
So that they have to do an investigation. They have to have a plan. They need to know who's in the home and what the risk might be once they enter that home.
Yeah.
And that has to be bumped up to what they call a second level sergeant, right? So it can't just be their immediate sergeant. It has to be bumped up 2 levels to be approved before it actually even goes to a judge, and that they actually conduct a raid. So it's things like that are in the ordinance. And then the ordinance is also, it's asking that they don't point guns at children, right? That's common sense.
Yeah, that is common sense.
That's common sense. Don't point a gun at children. And we know that they've been doing that. So there are things like that that's in the ordinance. The ordinance was drafted 2 years ago. We initially sent it to the Public Safety Committee last year, and they got voted down. But now we're in the process of planning on resubmitting it to the City Council, because of our current mayor and the current administration does support the ordinance.
Yes.
And so we are planning to reintroduce it before the end of this year.
Now, our live studio audience, not that we really have one, but when Adam is passionate about something, he gonna write me some questions to ask. So he wants to know, are there any new training measures? Are we calling for any new training? Because at the end of the day, I guess this is kind of training, right?
Right.
So, and was that the question, Adam? Make sure I'm asking right. He wanted to make sure that there was some new training measures included in this order.
Yeah, so there are some so those were just a couple of the major points in the ordinance. But there are asking that police officers are being retrained on how they conduct themselves. And so our previous mayor, when all of this happened, she introduced an executive order that mirrored the Aunt Jeanette Young ordinance, because she did not support the ordinance. And so we know what an executive order is, or for those of you who don't know what an executive order is, it's a document that the current mayor can write out and sign and push it. But it has no teeth to it. It's just a document that anybody can remove at any point.
Yeah.
So I was not satisfied with the mayor just putting in place an executive order, because it has no accountability to it.
Yeah.
And so with this ordinance, there's accountability, and there are things that the police officer can be held accountable for if they do not follow it once the ordinance is in place.
I love it because we have problems, and now you're creating a solution. So believers that are listening, when we announce that this ordinance has been resubmitted, we need you to call all of your aldermen.
Absolutely.
And to let them know that you want them to support this ordinance, because it was Miracle yesterday. It was Aunt Jeanette yesterday. But without proper things in place, it could be you or your family tomorrow. Aunt Jeanette, thank you so much for joining us on the Brunch today. One last time, tell them how they can register for this I Am Her conference.
So the I Am Her conference is a youth conference, and the goal is that I want to host 100 young people between the grades of 7th and 12th grade at this conference, you can go to my website, which is IamHer21.com, and go to the events page. So the youth don't have to pay for this conference. It's going to be totally free for all of the youth. Where I need your support is, and please go in and donate any amount. $35 will send one youth to a conference. But if you don't have $35, you can partner with a friend and you pay 10 and they pay 10 and we get to 35. And then if you do have more than $35, drop that too. You can drop 500, you can drop 1,000. Our goal is to raise $5,000 so that we can host 100 youth here in the city of Chicago between the grades of 7 and 12 to this conference for free.
I love it. Well, listen, believers, make sure you register for the I Am Her conference. We'll be posting information on our social media pages. And Jeanette and Miracle, thank you so much for joining us. Listen, we got to have you back so we can have some more time to dive into this, but we're going to pump it up. Believers, you know, and Jeanette and Miracle had genius mindsets because God is a genius right here on the Brunch Bunch.
Yes.
All right, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time flies very fast on the radio.
Of course it does.
Thank you.
We're
going to come out and get some pictures.
So let me tell you about these. Yeah. We didn't get to talk about these on.
Hold on, we're going to shift because we got.
Oh, you got somebody else you need to get in here? Okay.
Thank y'all for sharing your stories.
Absolutely.
I'm going to send you that clip too because putting that cop's name out there, that's important.
Yeah,
you know?
It sure is. So, thank you.
Hey, don't forget y'all stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Have a great day, you guys. Thank you.
And the candles are for whoever you want.
Oh, thank you.
I sent it just now. And
Jeanette Young, if you don't have my number,
You guys are good. Yeah, I'm going to set it up. Hey there.
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Hey, believers, it's your main man, Action Jackson. Are you searching for a life-changing word? Look no further than Corby Bush Ministries. Tune in every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time to the Word Network, where Corby Bush Ministry brings you powerful messages that will touch your heart and transform your life. Corby Bush
So you both get a mic to yourself.
spreading the
That woman that just walked out was the woman where the police raided her house.
Yeah, that's her.
To connect directly with their
Yeah,
ministry.
Oh, really?
A little over a year ago.
Yeah. No, it's been more than a year.
Almost 2 years.
Tune in this Saturday at 6 p.m. to the Word Network for a life-changing word.
Attention school-age parents. Are you tired of the same old learning routines? West Austin has a solution for you and options for knowledge that will teach your kids ages 6 through 12 how to code, design, and market their own digital business. From posters to full-blown websites to IT.
I have to figure out how to even get to it.
Digital marketing material that can earn them big dollars before and after graduation.
You know the man of excellence.
Hello, sir.
And the woman of excellence.
I'm trying to keep up.
Good. Let me get over here.
So you texted Gabriella or you texted?
I believe we met before.
He sent it to
I
Gabrielle.
don't have it, so I don't know
Hello,
how to get on.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
I like somebody stuff.
She said whoever won on cancer. I said I'm gonna take one.
Okay, cool.
They both they all the same thing.
I need the link.
No, this is different.
Yolanda to get one of them.
Slow down, Jim Shoe. I'm gonna get you a cut with your back up.
How do I get on? Because I'm not on. I don't have a link. And,
Log into your phone one number.
I normally do it from here.
You send it to her.
We have
Okay.
40 seconds.
40 seconds and we are hot.
You putting it in front of them? We don't know what we're doing, so
You need some help.
yeah, we do.
No, help her.
I did go to the link, and I guess I'll do it from my phone because I don't
Did
have
she
time to
text it
figure
to
out.
you? Yeah.
But normally I send it to this, and I don't. You know that
Technology.
I don't know it. Yeah.
Help Gabriella first. We can get the clip out.
Hers is
on, but
it's saying like create a stream.
yeah.
No, click the link he sent you.
Yeah.
Go back to the link he
I
sent
sent
you.
you. And then put
I
your stream,
know.
put your name in.
Okay, quiet on set,
We
everybody.
gotta do what we gotta do though.
You're rocking with the Brunch right here on Inspiration 1390. It's your main man, Action Jackson, and each and every Tuesday, as I started the show out telling you believers, is my favorite day of the week because Winona Redmond of Win-Win Communication introduces me to a new best friend every week, or as today, she brings back some old best friends that I already got off. Well, the previous best friends. So we are always excited to have Winona in the building. Winona, I just told our guest Anjanette in the hallway when you walked out, I said, Winona is someone everybody should know. And you are
too kind.
you are doing some amazing things. And you came in talking about amazing things.
You know, I just, everybody was saying the weather. They were talking about the rain today, and there were so many big events planned today. But we just left the dedication of the University of Chicago's Cancer Center. Phenomenal. It was raining a little bit, but they still got through the program. They still got to ring the bell at the end.
Wow.
But everybody knows, and these pastors have been with me from day one with my mother's cancer. They prayed. Pastor Cowles prayed for me when my twin died in 2007 when Winslow died. And he's a walking miracle to have a double lung transplant. And but we, this is Inspiration 1390. It all talks about, we know where our source is, and we know who our healer is, but a powerful dedication today with the University of Chicago. And I'm glad it was raining so you couldn't tell when I was crying or I was just sweating, because they, when they started talking about it, it's personal. Kwame Raoul, our big attorney general, he talked about having been treated for prostate cancer at the University of Chicago, but having lost both grandfathers and a dad to prostate cancer. So when we say all of that, to know that we have so much going on, and we just hear that there's a healer, and all sickness is not unto death. And when you have phenomenal facilities like this, Mayor Johnson was saying that's why this is the best freaking city in the country.
Yeah, that's why we have everything here.
But another miracle with the guest pastors today.
Yeah.
So community chatter is all about, we don't need hidden figures.
That's it.
Community chatter is all about sharing the news.
Yeah.
You know, we got good news, but not only was there a miracle with the double lung transplant, but recently when all of that flooding in July happened, I'm gonna let them tell their story about Hope Excel.
Oh wow!
And what's
okay.
going on? Yes. So they had another miracle.
Yes,
you
we did.
had
We
a miracle. But God.
But God.
Tell them
the grace of
so
God.
so why don't you introduce? I'm not gonna go down. You all have been here before, and this is AM 1390. So yes, the believers know about you.
Yeah.
But we're grateful to have Apostle and Pastor Kyles in the house, and they've got the church, they've got the school. But tell them, and the nonprofit, and we got an event coming up November 9th. Yes, but folks can help today. But I'm gonna let you all introduce yourself. Okay. Well, they are a love and power couple.
Oh yeah, they're better than Jay-Z and Beyonce. Come on.
And I can go down the list of the 37 board pastors, the committee for the Joint Public Safety Training Campus with aldermen.
Been there, done all of that.
Yeah.
And 35 years of marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, number one accolade, right?
And I remember they had Gossip Hair Salon too. They're entrepreneurs. They're entrepreneurs.
Crystal's Hair Dynasty. The first Black-owned salon in Oak Park.
Oh wow!
Over 30-some years. Well, about 34 years ago. Okay. We opened up on Madison.
You guys are entrepreneurs through and through, but I like to call them spiritual entrepreneurs because you lead.
You have to do that.
You know, I saw a pastor put up on Facebook this morning. Why are we so many of the saints not living abundant lives? And it made me to think. You know, the Bible teaches us that, but we got to put God first, and you guys are evidence of that.
Well, to God be the glory, and thank you for that, man. And that's what you want, is you want it to be seen and not just heard.
That's it.
You want to live the life before people. We have been so blessed, man. During the flood in July, as many people know, there was no place for the water to go.
Yeah.
So we had about 4 feet of water on our roof. Nothing wrong with the roof. It's just the weight of all of that water caused the roof to collapse. And thanks be to God that our son had just locked the door, walked through the room, and locked the door.
15-year-old.
The roof collapsed. Nobody got hurt. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
And who could have been there?
We were in the building.
Yeah, we were in the building on the other side. Had it been a little early, everybody was on time, they would have been back there fixing communion. Had that been a school day, I would have had my teacher with about 13 little ones in their classroom. Had that happened on a Monday through Friday. But thanks be to God who gives us the victory, and he didn't allow that to happen. And that was an unfortunate event that happened on that day, July 2nd. I'll never forget that day. And it impacted us tremendously, the church and the school.
And let's back up. So for folks listening that may not have heard who you are, so say the address of the church, say the address of the school, and the name, because we want people to really hear exactly where you're at. So when we get ready to say they can help, we want to make sure they can help.
That's it.
Our church is called the Promise Church of Chicago. The original name is Heirs of the Promise Ministry. We shortened it to the Promise Church of Chicago. We're located at 4821 West Chicago Avenue. 4821 West Chicago Avenue.
The Great West Side in Austin.
At the beginning of the Soul Corridor.
Yes.
We also have our school, which is called Hope Excel. And the school is actually part of our charitable organization. Our charitable organization is Excel Community Development Corporation. Excel Community Development is like our umbrella organization. Our school is under the CDC, and we have a couple of programs, one of which is our Healing Center. I know you're hearing about that. Our response to gun violence, so that people who have been either directly or indirectly can get some counseling or get some help. Also with the school, Hope Excel, reaching the World Academy.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you talk about the school.
Yes,
she runs the school, so I'll let her talk.
Yeah, we're Hope Excel Reaching the World Academy, and we've been open over 10 plus years, serving children and families in the Austin community, doing a great job. And we start at ages 3 and we go up to 2nd grade. So we do a phenomenal job. We teach academics along with Christian education.
So important.
So important.
Yes, baby, them kids will pray y'all up out of here. Them 4-year-olds will pray you all up out of here. And then last year we added the curriculum of the Freedom School. So we engage the children in civil rights activities and teaching them about different things. We don't go way back to the 17 and 1600s. We want to be current so they can know that they have the opportunity to be great, you know. So we go from like the 60s all the way up. We talked about the stars and the singers and the rappers and just different things. You know, I didn't even know all the great things about Tupac. But so because we're showing them that there's greatness in their people, in their community, that they don't have to look to others, that they can look at their people, and then showing them how to recognize that their parents, grandmama, somebody, those can be some heroes in their family. So we do a great job over there. I'm excited. I get excited talking about them.
We're African American led, and we're also indigenous.
Everybody in there.
Everybody there is from the community.
And what's so amazing, you think you know people, and then you continue to learn. But you know, you have the freedom education, but you also are history yourself.
Well, yes, I'm the 3rd generation, actually that I know of, 3rd generation pastor. My uncle, a lot of people knew because of his work in the civil rights, Reverend Billy Kyles. My Reverend
Kyles
was the one that was standing on the balcony with Dr. King when he was assassinated. Wow. And did some great work with Dr. King. Yeah.
On their way to Uncle Billy's house.
You know, we in my family, I believe that we are just taught from an early age that service is what we do. Everyone in my family, in one way or another, is serving. You know, my sisters, my brother has a nonprofit. He's in Texas. My sisters serve either through their churches. One of them is a teacher, and the other one's a nurse. We know nothing but giving back.
And you celebrated an anniversary. So this whole generations of pastors and freedom movement and civil rights, it just speaks to we can't be one dimensional. Right. So the church is a business, so you all are definitely business owners. But when you say you're Pastor Billy Kyles, so you just had an anniversary of how many years?
25 years. Our church is celebrating. Church from scratch, y'all. And we weren't planted by anyone. We're not denominational. Of course, we've had a lot of people walk alongside of us and help us to do this. But we are 25 years old, our church. And through the church, we birthed the school and we birthed our nonprofit. And we've just, all of the credit has to go to God because we started this because we were entrepreneurs and we understood business. And so we started this again. We didn't have 50 people say, let's get together and do this. It was just my wife and I, and a command from God.
Yes, he made me
That's
go.
all I had. I had a command from God, and he told me to come back and shepherd my community. And that's what I hope I've been doing for the last 25 years, working with Alderman Mintz for the last 20 years. Of course, you all know we worked to bring Walmart to Chicago. And then people talk about the Walmart, but there was 21 projects after Walmart that we brought to Austin and had an opportunity to sit down and with those developers and those business owners,
thousands of jobs,
and made sure that those jobs also were given to people in the community.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love when you guys come and when I know to bring you, because one of the things we talked about this last time, all of the other projects that you helped to bring to the community through the 37th Ward. Right. But when we don't know about it, then all we do is talk about Walmart. And we got so many other great things.
Many other projects.
And then, you know what, I would like to piggyback, because even through Hope Excel, when we think about violence prevention, we do after school programming. With our after school programming, we make sure they are engaged in sports. So even after school is over, my daughter, who's a junior coach, she takes them to the park district, La Follette Park. Those kids are in football, they're in baseball, they're in basketball, they do weight training, they do cheerleading. So we try to make sure that we help even after school. to make sure that these children are in a safe environment, in a safe place, and they all have to learn how to pray. And then in the summertime, we do summer campus, and we have a lot of different things. So one of the things we did this year, we taught the kids pickleball. So when some of the kids went back to school, he was saying, "What y'all do that?" He said, "Yeah, we did pickleball." So somebody, pickleball, what is pickleball? So he break. You don't know what pickleball is? We did pickleball this summer. Pickleball, tennis, golf. You name it, we try to introduce these children to it because we just don't know where it may lead to. So we try to be that holistic person, that holistic community that helps that majority single mom. Most of our children are coming from single parent households. So we try to make sure that we're that village that mom needs to help her with her 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids that she may have.
That's great. So fast forward to today, it's just so much going on in Chicago when you see the immigrants. And I'm like, how did we get here? Because before these thousands of folks came, I think about how we helped Dr. Stinson, Reverend Stinson, and Matthew House, and the homeless that were already among us. And then to have all of the immigrants, the fact that and the fact that you are working with the violence, and the fact that you have a healing, garden.
The healing center is a new program that we partnered with an organization by the name of Live Free, and we're trying to develop a way for people. So many of our people have been exposed to gun violence but have done nothing about it. Actually, they don't even know that they've been impacted. They feel like, we're getting to a place now where this becomes the norm. And it's not normal for you to be exposed to gun violence. So there may be trauma that you've received that needs to be addressed, and you don't even know it needs to be addressed. So we're having group sessions, and we have therapists available. We have psychiatrists, psychologists available. If you want to talk one-on-one, if you prefer just to sit in a group and listen, because there are other people who can express their pain. Maybe you haven't learned how to do that yet. And so many of our people are expressing their pain in negative ways.
Yes.
We want to know where the drug addiction, where the alcoholism come from, where did this come from? Well, when you wake up to gunshots 2 or 3 times a week, you have no choice but to be traumatized.
We used to duck when you hear gunshots. Growing up in the West Side, now we just kind of sit around. We can say, "Oh, it was 3 blocks over." Which is sad.
That's it really is. But we don't want to just say to the family that was affected. But what about the lady down the street who that young boy used to come down and sit on her porch and talk to her? Or maybe it was one of the kids that your kid used to play with, and now he's gone. In some way or another, most of us have been affected. A kid got shot on our block while we were in church. That's the first time that has ever happened, but it happened. And the family lives a block from the church. So, of course, I want to minister to them. But beyond that, it's great to go and pray with that family, but you need to be able to offer them something. And so that's why we developed the Community Healing Center.
And then just knowing what you've done from all aspects, from business, from being on the Joint Public Safety Training Campus, the Alderman Miss Board, to help bring that and all of the other activities. But then we need to make sure that everybody knows when you have a need. And you reap what you sow. And right now, folks need to be able to know what your need is of, because with all the money coming in from FEMA, with all the money, you still have to replace thousands of dollars for your school. You still have, we wanted to make sure. I know your annual event is coming up November 9th at Columbus Reflectory. But let's detail what you need, because you have a big gap. You need to raise like $750,000, and while insurance is going to come halfway there, where are you now running your school and church?
Because of that roof collapse, Winona, let's make it clear. We had to vacate the entire building. Our building was 12,500 square feet. we had to take everything out of the building.
What
The
did get
building is being
destroyed?
stripped down to the walls, down to the studs,
Because of the
actually,
mold and stuff.
because they don't want mold to come back in the building. The roof is being replaced. The entire building has to be gutted. And if you've ever been in our building, the front wasn't that great, but inside, even I've had 3 mayors come in that building. They all asked me the same question: is this the same building I walked into? Because inside it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And it took us a long time to get there. And our plan, and people would ask me, why haven't you all remodeled the front? Well, we have a plan to buy the block. That's our plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's our vision.
Mhm.
And we wanted to be sure that we could put a facade on all of the buildings.
Yeah.
We've purchased 2 so far. We have a contract on the 3rd, and we're trying to negotiate on the 4th.
Woo, woo. That's
But
kingdom building.
We are trying, yes, and these properties would be reflective of what can happen when people come together. It's great vision. And so now we are in a position where we had a policy for our school and another policy for our church. The policy for our church did pay and is paying and helping us,
Okay.
of course, to get there, but you got to come up with deductible money. You got to come up with all the stuff that they don't fix.
Right.
And then the school's policy would not pay at all.
Anything.
And the school
Wow.
lost all of its equipment.
It's the
We
one that
lost
lost all of its
everything. We
equipment.
lost
Lost.
everything.
And all
We
brand new
lost
stuff,
everything.
too, by
All
the way.
brand new, state of the art.
State of the
Smart
art.
boards, everything.
Computers,
Uh.
laptops, iPads, the whole shot, everything.
Well,
Yeah.
I just wanted to, and I hope this helps to touch the heart of the people. You know, the Bible tells us where your heart is, your treasure will be also.
Mhm.
And what you give to what you love. And something that you said that really stuck out to me this whole conversation. You're teaching these kids how to pray. It's a Christian academy. And we need more of those, because now that I'm a father, I pay attention to things
Of
like
2.
that. Of 2. And I literally just told Valencia, we're going to have to probably homeschool these kids because of the things that are happening in public education and how they're teaching our kids how to do everything but pray, how to be everything.
You're not too far from Hope Excel.
I know.
That's right. We just got to get them back
But that's why now we got to get them back open, because we need that gap to
Well,
be
they're
filled.
open. They're just in the. Where are you
Well,
at
right
now?
now, thank
Temporarily
God,
located.
Pastor Matthew Miller
Mhm.
allowed us
I
to
love
use his
those Miller
community.
pastor
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
the
brothers.
Miller
yes.
brothers.
He had a whole community center that was empty and vacant, and we were referred to talk to him. He immediately opened up his door because he know what it was like to be homeless.
Mhm.
And yes, we were homeless because my office was outside, stealing Wi-Fi, so I could do what I had to do. You know, I poured a table outside, and people's coming by and waving. So we were homeless, and he knew what it's like because his church had caught on fire some years
I
back.
remember that.
And he immediately opened up his doors, and now we have up there, he has 10 classrooms, so we're using like 6 of them,
Mhm.
using 6 of the classrooms, and we have access to the gym. So we have a place that we're using, you know, for right now, so that we can keep doing what we do.
And our
To
make
worship
sure that our-
services are in that
Yes,
gymnasium
and we use
on
the
Sunday.
gymnasium for the church too. And so right now, you know, this was devastating to us, to our families, to our children, to my staff, you know, because I'm like, okay, I have 12 staff.
Yeah.
They've got to keep working.
Yeah.
Majority of them are single parents.
Yep.
So we knew the stress of that, the crying sometimes and walking in faith, and crying sometimes and walking in faith and crying sometimes. I said, God, you know, you got to fix this thing, you know. So he did it. We have a place that we're using, but in the meantime, like Apostle say, my insurance won't cover anything. They told us it wasn't an earthquake, it wasn't a volcano eruption, it wasn't a hurricane, so we're not going to cover. I said, well, I got to evacuate the building. Won't you at least help pay for the trucks and things to get whatever I can salvage? They won't pay for anything. So we thank God for the church's insurance. So we lost everything. So we have a lot that we have to, you know, be compensated for. Like you say, the insurance is going to cover some, but we have a tremendous shortfall. So we have about a $300,000 shortfall between the insurance and what I'm not able to get from my insurance.
Mhm.
So we're going to do our fundraiser. It's called An Evening with Excel. And you know, you gave me that name. It's called An Evening with Excel. And we're going to do that November the 9th in Austin at the Columbus Park Refectory. And that's on Jackson near Central. And we're going to do that from 6 o'clock to 9 that day.
But they don't have to wait before we go
They
off
don't
the
have to
air
wait.
and run out of
They don't
time.
have to wait.
They don't
Tell
have to
them
wait.
where
If
your GoFundMe
you can do,
or
right.
whatever you can
If you
do.
just
You
go
can
to
help today.
hopexcel.com, they would have
Hopexcel.com.
everything on there. The information about the GoFundMe, the Zelle, the Venmo, the Cash App, the PayPal. Hopexcel.com. Go to hopexcel.com. Every HOPEEXCEL. Everything is on there. You can start donating today. You don't have to wait till the 9th. But if you can come by on the 9th, we're going to have a fantastic time. Food, fun. We're streaming it. We're going to have prizes. It's going to be phenomenal. So come by. Let me give me a hug, because I may need a hug. I'll probably be crying all through the whole thing.
So when
But
they
come
say
by.
just ask, just ask.
Just ask. Come by.
Because you should
And this
be
is for the
able.
school, Winona. We want to make that clear that people are giving for the students.
Yes.
They're giving to help us get on track with our children and really build that building back up where our children
Yes.
can walk into a place
Yes.
and be
Christian
so
education.
proud.
Christian
And be
education.
so proud.
Freedom
School.
education.
Yes.
You know,
So
the
learning-
girls are
That's
girls, the
where
boys
these
are boys.
funds are
Amen.
going.
Hello.
This is for that. Yes.
So
That's what we teach.
So you can start supporting today, but I think you got to make that list too, because we're in a town with Google and every kind of major technology and some great firms. So we need to make sure we put that list on there and
A
show.
wish list, yeah.
Because you got some folks that can replace those smart boards and replace those.
Microsoft, Google, that's
You
right.
got-
Well,
yeah.
listen, y'all got the right woman advocating for you.
But she has, Winona's been in our corner, man.
Those children
Like
had
she said, since
everything.
2007, she has really looked out for us.
Beautiful.
Helped us tremendously. She is a one. Well, you got her here.
Yeah,
You got her here for a reason.
Listen, I want to make
She's
sure I
a
keep her too.
wonderful person.
They can go to the website.
And this has
Everything is going to
This
be
has
there.
been, people, I guess, for me anyway, a lot of people were like, yo, you got this handled. You got this handled. Well, I would say it's the God in us that you don't have to look like what you're going through.
That's it.
And publicly,
stressful.
publicly,
It was
it
stressful.
is very stressful.
It was stressful. It was. I'm not going to
Very
tell you,
stressful.
even as a person of faith,
These-
it was a lot. I couldn't sleep, just couldn't eat. That I was concerned. That thing messed me up.
Yeah.
And then the fact that my baby had just walked from back there, and then that real fell in, So
Could have went another
reminded
way.
it could have went another way.
could've
And
been
And
another
nobody
way.
would have
Teachers and
survived.
students,
When
that
that
was a
thing,
different day.
when
nobody
that
would have
girl
survived
fell,
that. Nobody would have survived
no
that.
way.
To God be the
To God be the
glory.
glory.
He is always, and he points
So
that out.
all it
Always
did is
looking
just
out for
pushed us to get the building fixed and remodeled and all
because we
kind of
were
stuff.
saving for that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I know
We
the
kept
believers
saying, Lord,
are
give us
listening.
They gonna
building.
help. They gonna
And if
help.
they are like me, this has touched my
They gonna
heart.
help.
And I'm going to help.
Hallelujah.
And the
Thank you,
Brunch is going to be
Jesus.
in the building. And believers, go to
HopeExcel.com.
HopeExcel.com. Listen,
Everything is listed
they got
there.
every way covered to give.
Yes.
And listen, if you got that
Yes.
money under your mattress, just drop it
Just
off to
drop
the
it off.
church
Come
on
on
Sunday.
Come on. If the weather's nice, you'll see me sitting outside with the table, because sometimes I still sit out there, to do what I have to do. So we give God the glory for that.
Well,
He
Winona,
still
thank you
came
so
through.
much for always shining the light on the hidden figures that are doing amazing work in our community.
Chicago pastors and politicians, because you guys are so connected, and we're going to do Who's Who in Black Chicago, and we're going to have a big piece with pastors because you're connected. I love all the Millers. The fact that they got 3 pastors. So when you said I'm in a Miller church, I'm like, Leon,
right.
Matthew,
Which one?
He opened the
Johnny.
door.
Which one?
He helping us. He helping us.
But believers,
Yeah.
go to hopexcel.com, give, and let us know.
That's
Go on
right.
our
Come
Facebook
on.
page and
Come
say,
on and
Brunch
help us
Bunch,
do
we
this.
gave.
Help us
Share
do
the
this.
Winona,
Share
thank you
that.
so much for
Help
all
us
that
do
you
this.
do.
We're happy to
Believers,
Together,
we
stronger
are out
together.
of time,
Share
but
that.
we're never out of
Stronger
content.
together.
We encourage you to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know that you love them. Tell someone that you do know that you love them. Love will begin to spread like a wildfire. Tamara Fair, in your absence, I love you. Winona, we love you.
Yes.
Believers, we
Yes.
love you. Baby MJ, we love you.
Yes.
Baby Maddox.
Baby
we
Maddox.
love
Thank you,
Future
Winona.
Excel students.
Yeah. Future Hope Excel. That's right. Come on down. Sign them as long as they potty trained. We don't do diapers.
We are out. You know what? I'm glad you did that. I forgot about Maddox. I just was saying one baby. He made a month, so I got a month to catch it
wow,
up
you got
to.
a baby.
16 months and 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You got little ones.
I'm so sorry. And FEMA didn't want to do no real help, did they?
Well, because they say you can
That's
get
hers.
along.
You can just press leave.